What's up guys, hope you're good. We're back here now with a brand new video in AOR once again, this time round 9 in Hungary, around the Hungary ring. And as some of you might know, this is my favourite track. I really enjoy racing around here. It's always been my favourite track ever since I was a kid. But yeah, as you can see there, it's going to be a dry qualifying, dry race, and I'm really looking forward to this. I really was. And yeah, I just love like every single part of the track, whether it's sector 1, 2 or 3. It's just, I think it's a track that's got a good flow, and you have to be like really skilled to be good at this track. And it's a bit like Monaco without barriers pretty much. But yeah, I really enjoy racing around here. But early on in the session, I was just looking to see if anyone was actually going to qualify on a sauce, and I believe the only drivers were Martin and Limiters that were looking to qualify on the softs. Like the only top guys that were looking to qualify on the softs were them two there. But Lee was looking fast, Finch was looking fast, as you would have seen the fastest lap there by Lee, 18.8 I think it was. But yeah, I came out with like 10 minutes to go or something on the first runs on the supers, and I hoped to get in a decent banker lap really, because I was actually having problems with the pedal placement before the race, where the pedal was too far back as I was practicing, so I pulled it back forward and trying to get used to it in this qualifying session. But yeah, a bit of lock off into turn 1 there, but yeah, I was feeling good to be honest. Despite the problem, I felt like I got used to it in a few laps, and yeah, it was looking good. The lap was looking good, as you can see there. Pretty good through the end of sector 2 there for the right hander, and coming around now to finish the lap, opening DRS. What do we set now? It's an 18.9, so about a tenth and a half. Well, we're close to 19.0 actually, but yeah, a tenth and a half off Cupid or off Lee. But I knew I could improve that lap time because my PB was 18.5, and I knew if I could just, after that was basically me trying to get used to the pedals. But I knew like I was used to it. Like I could like go out on the next lap and I can put it in a much better lap than that. It won't be an 18.5. I don't think I could possibly do that, but like 18.7, 18.8, I knew it was possible. But yeah, as you would have already seen, you guys would have probably seen it because I uploaded this lap before, but I'll go through it once again. So first of all, open DRS as quick as you can, as soon as possible. Starting our lap now, and into turn 1 we'll be looking for a 100 meter board. That's where you want to use the brake for. Brake at 100 meter board, dropping down to second gear, shift up to third, and then fourth. You don't really have to rush opening DRS because traction is a bit more important. But again here, 100 meter, just off the 100 meter board, keep it in second gear, shift up to third, closest to the apex as possible, and keep the wheel straight as possible on the traction. Like that's the most important thing. You have to just keep the wheel straight as possible. Into turn 4 here. Bit cautious, but nevertheless it's a valid lap, no cuts or no extends. So about 10th and a half up now, nearly 2/10 coming into the chicane, and again dropping out to second, shift up to third. But we actually get a kick of oversteer. Would have cost us a 10th, I'd say. Into here, managed to hit the apex nicely. Again here, keep it in fourth gear, don't shift down to third. Well, it's optional if you want to, but I usually just keep it around fourth there. Again here, shift up to sixth as soon as you find the traction. Coming into here, just braking after the 100 meter board, drop down to second and shift up to third. And here we have a few corners left. We have to nail these last 2 corners. Drop down to second, keep as tight as possible to the apex on the left there. Shift up to fifth, drop down to third just before you get to the corner. Stay as right as possible. Avoid the exit cut, which we don't do, and that will cost us a bit of time. We're coming across now to set an 18.7, which puts us pole by a few tenths, I'd say. I think half a tenth there is 600ths of a second, pretty close there. But yeah, that's a 1-2 Mercedes again, and we have Finch in third, surprising 4. So again, 3 ESRs in the top 4, well 4 in ESRs in the top 6. My brother Alonso in 5th, ESR in 6th. But yeah, with this race I was really looking forward to it, and I think Martin and Limiters were down the order on starting on soft tyres, so they'll probably be looking to 1 stop in this race, which could mean that if they execute well, they could actually be main competitors at the end of the race, because a 1 stop is pretty much equal on this track, I'd say. Tested myself in the race time, was pretty close, but Lee was pretty fast. But yeah, looking at drive standards now, about 34 point gap to CSR Cupid, and I think that was 55 point gap to Martin. And yeah, again, championship bit wide open, I'd still say, because anything can happen. And but yeah, we're looking in a good position, that's for sure. But my aim for this race was just to win. I didn't even care about the championship that much. I just wanted to win this race, being my favourite track. I was just extremely pumped for this race. Like, I've been looking forward to it the whole season, and I just want to win. That's all I want to do. And starting on pole now, that is pretty crucial, because again, like, the run down to turn 1 is pretty long, so we need a decent start, that's for sure. We have ESR Lee on our right, Finch right behind us. And as the fourth light now comes on, I actually forget what the clutch is. I'm looking for buttons to figure out, like, just starting to think what the clutch was. Put it in first again the last minute and got a fairly poor start. But yeah, just brain freeze there. I forgot what the clutch was. And coming into turn 1 now, braking just on the 100 meter board. Lee on our right goes deep, and Finch was actually on our left there. So yeah, we got sandwiched early on, but managed to go through it unscathed, thankfully, covering the inside line into turn 2. But yeah, so far we are in the lead, and it looks like Ryan was in third, but had a half spin. I think he clipped Lee and half spun, which collected Alonso and Finch in the process. I think Alonso had a wing damage, but Finch didn't, so he was 4th or 5th at this point. But Limitless moves up to 3rd place on the soft tyres. And I must admit, at this point I was quite worried, because he's a quick driver, and being on the soft tyres as well around this track, where one stop is pretty much the same race time as the 2-stop strategy, I'd say yeah, it was proper worrying, because if he managed to stay with us in the first first few laps, then for sure he's going to be a hard competitor to beat at the end of the race. But yeah, coming into the end of lap 1 now, we're still ahead of ESR Lee, and Limitless not really that far behind. It's right behind Lee there, and as you can see on the right there, I've actually underfueled my car, because I felt from practice, I felt like it doesn't really matter much to run rich around this track, not as much as other tracks like Silverstone, Australia perhaps. But yeah, again, turn 1 now, we go beat deep. Still, yeah, I think I was trying to get used to the pedals, like I said, but that was just me being tensed up a bit as well. So yeah, again, we're still ahead now, still P1. But yeah, going back to my point, I felt like running rich round hills and too crucial. So what I did was just run in standard rich, and then put in lean throughout sector 1, pretty much all of sector 2. Sorry, put in lean throughout all of sector 2. As you can see here, still in lean, and just keep it in lean until towards the end of sector 2, where you have a few straights before the twisty turns. But yeah, coming round to finish lap 2, again you can see me and Lee have actually pulled a bit of gap, and he's pretty close to me. So let's see if he does go for a move on the inside. I don't think he's trying to do that, so maybe he thought it's best for us to just open the gap early on to Limitless. And I think that's ESR Finch right behind Limitless there on the minimap, as you can see, into turn 2. Yeah, that's him right behind him. So Finch was looking pretty quick through practice, and as we saw in Silverstone, it's pretty quick. So if he got past Limitless, definitely he was going to be a threat for this race. And coming around to finish lap 3, still pretty much the same order. We're setting 22.7s though, which is pretty poor, about 7/10 off my PB in practice. So yeah, struggling at the moment with with just the race over robot pedals as well, for sure. I know I keep repeating myself there, but it was pretty crucial at the time, because I was still trying to get used to it, just locking up at places where I usually didn't lock up. So definitely was struggling. And coming to finish sector 2, as you can see, purple there, we're about 10th up, nearly 2/10 up, so we definitely get into the rhythm now for sure. And if I could set a 22.3, 22.3 or 22.4, that would be pretty much what I set in practice on lap 4, lap 5 of the race. So that'd be a good confidence boost, that's for sure. But ESR Lee is still right behind me, and he was fast all weekend too. He was mega fast. So yeah, we set 22.4 there, but crucially he does have DRS, so it's good that we've actually got into this rhythm now. Now we can actually start pushing like we used to in practice. So yeah, definitely crucial. And coming around to finish lap 5, he's still right behind me. As you can see in the minimap there, Finch, after overtaking Limitless, he decides to pit, and my tyres were still decent, 48, 52%, so I didn't feel like I needed to pit. I was just planning to do what I did in practice, just pit lap 7, and I think it was lap 20, 21, so yeah, again, yeah, being the car ahead now, being ahead of Lee, that's definitely crucial, because I get to pit what lap 1 and already ready in the soft tyres there, as you can see. But yeah, the race overall is looking pretty decent for us, especially for the Mercedes boys. 1-2 once again we've claimed a few of them this season, but as you can see at turn 4 they will go wide, we pick up a warning, and that is pretty crucial around here, because 3 warnings is a penalty. But into the chicane, look at the left mirror there, ESR Lee actually lags on his screen, like my car lagged back to him, and on my screen he lagged into me, so like the bit of lag going on there, which is a shame, because I believe he hit me on his screen, and he picked up the minor wing damage, where it's not yellow, but it's like really slight greenish, or like light green, where they don't actually repair that in the pit. So that's another glitch on this game, where they don't repair the slightest wing damage. So yeah, that's a real shame for him, it really is, because it looked like it was going to be a decent race, and I think that would have cost him a few tenths a lap, that's for sure. I'm not going to say like how much precisely, because I wouldn't know, but yeah, it did cost him a few tenths, definitely slower than what he usually is around here. So yeah, that's a real shame for him. But as you can see, we pit confirmed there, so we confirmed that we're boxing this lap, and coming around now, make sure to like not really speed or make mistakes, not go wide, just keep it calm as possible, and keeping in mind that actually Finch has gone for a 2-lap undercut. Like, it's crucial that we come out ahead of him, because if we come out behind, then not only he has the chance to beat us this race, but also like Martin Limitless, considering they're on a 1-stop. So yeah, we definitely have to come out in front of him. I think that's a 2.0 pit stop, which is pretty surprising, let's say, considering how the other pit stops have gone for us. But as you can see, with Finch setting the fastest lap, he is on fire at the moment, and into turn 1 you can see the gap's a bit closer than what it was before the pit stop. So I'm glad I was able to put a few good laps, lap 6 and lap 7. I felt like they were the maximum I could put in. So yeah, crucial that we managed to stay ahead. I wouldn't say it's an overcut, because he pit 2 laps earlier than, and he closed the gap. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't say overcut. I don't want to big myself up there, because I did nothing too special there. It's just him doing a really, thinking clever about it, and just pitting 2 laps extra, 2 laps before, just to try and get an undercut, because it is a pretty hard track to overtake round here. And if he could just be ahead of me on the same tyres, and if he could keep me behind, because he's a really good defender. I believe he's a really good defender when it comes to defending, and yeah, like, it's pretty hard to overtake him. So if he got ahead, it would have been pretty hard to overtake him, and who knows, if there was a slipstream glitch, it would have been even harder, maybe even impossible. But coming across now to finish our lap, our out lap, and as you can see, the gaps, it doesn't say the gap there actually, but Finch does set the fastest lap there. So we're hoping we can like match that at least this lap, so we can confirm that we are pretty much the same pace as him. But again, coming around to finish this lap, and we'll get to see now what the lap time we actually do. Hoping it's faster than his one. I hope it's the fastest lap actually. But come across the line now, what is it? Yes, it's 21.7, a 10 faster than his fastest lap the lap before. So gap now 1.8 seconds between us, so that's crucial. He's out by DRS, and crucially we're about a 10 faster than. But yeah, I kept going wide into turn 1 there, and I think it was because I had DRS and I just forgot I had DRS. It carried a bit too much extra speed. That's Alonso on the right there, I believe. Like, he's just had a poor race so far, because the wing damage changed his wing or whatever, he just dropped far behind. But we're now right behind reversal. We're cut again accidentally, and that's our second warning. We have to get past reversal immediately, because he's Martin's teammate. He will do anything possible to, or he'll defend as hard as possible to keep us behind. Coming out the chicane, he actually oversteers onto the left there, which made it pretty easy for me. So thanks for that, bit of a early birthday present for me there. But yeah, moving on towards the end of sector 2 here. We're actually still, well, not still, but it was the car ahead of reversal at the time was Falcon, so we're looking to proceed to catch on to him, and I think that's actually still reversal between me and Finch there, so that's crucial. That's something to note down. because it could take Finch a bit longer time to get past him. So again, we just have to get past Falcon as soon as possible. Right behind him on the exit there, open DRS in Rich makes hand. Thankfully it doesn't really make it too hard for us, so we just put our car on the inside and just try and brake as early as possible this time, and well, not late at least, and we managed to just about get it okay. But yeah, that's another car between us and Finch, and I think Lee was still right behind Finch there, and that was crucial for me, because if he's behind Finch, then like I said, Finch defends pretty hard, and I don't think he would have made it easy for Lee at all. So yeah, that's definitely crucial for us, and give it a wing damage Lee has, which is pretty unfortunate for him. It would have just made it even harder for him to get past Finch, so yeah, unfortunate for him. But moving on to our race, we're still right behind TR Williams here, and he's been doing a good job here so far. But yeah, coming now out of that fast right now, we get a decent exit, and he just brakes early, thinking about his race. Good racecraft there, and we move ahead of him as well. And the next guy ahead now is Jason. He started on the medium tyres, I believe, so he'll definitely be doing a one-stop, it seems, and I think that's TR Martin now pitting on the soft tyres, so he'll be going on the medium tyres. We're not too far behind him, which is quite surprising for me, because Martin's quite quick around here as well. So I think this is his favourite track as well. So yeah, I think putting on the mediums now, he'll definitely get a bit of an undercut, maybe 3-4 seconds, but I wouldn't think any more than that, because the medium tyres are not really that quick around here. And yeah, so we come now to start sector 3, end of lap 13. We're still right behind Jason, but we don't really need to rush, so I just put it lean here, and I know I'm not going to get past in these last 2 corners, so might as well just save fuel and save tyres right behind him, and just open DRS and make the move stick into turn 1. So we open DRS now, switch up to Rich, stay in section as long as possible, pull to the inside early on just in case there's a bit of lag going on. But yeah, into turn 1, brake slightly late, but just keep the outside line here, give as much space as possible for him on the inside, just in case there's like that desync glitch or cycle glitch where like it just causes you to crash even though no one's turning into each other. So yeah, that was crucial for me. Just keep the cars left as possible on the exit, give him much space as possible, because the last thing I want now is a pointless incident, or yeah, just a minor pointless incident which could destroy my race straight away, not just for me but also for him as well. So yeah, again, just giving it as much space as possible, because as we know, this game is not really that good when it comes to contact model, unfortunately. But yeah, it's realistic at the same time, but some of it really isn't, like especially like when people just bounce off like ping balls, like it's like contact and you go to Narnia, basically just fly off. It's just exaggerated, I'd say, in terms of the rebound effect. Let's say that's just a bit exaggerated. But yeah, moving on back to the race. On lap 15 it is, I think, coming around to the end of lap 18, and yeah, everything decent at the moment. Gaps 4.3 seconds to Finch, and Jason is still not pit yet, and I think that's ESR Lee still right behind Jason. So he's still doing a good job, and I believe he's also on the soft tyres, because he pit lap 8 it was, and so his tyres are pretty much the same as mine, I'd say, and his would be fresher than Finch's by about 3 laps. And I think that's actually Finch pitting on lap 18, and that was pretty surprising for me, because I felt like the 2-stop strategy, super soft was the best strategy, but he went for the super soft medium, it seems. So he's on the mediums now. I think he'll get a decent undercut, keeping in mind that the gap was 4 seconds. We'll look to see what that gap will be when we come out of the pits later on. We don't pit, we stay out for another lap, and that's actually ESR Lee now pitting, and I think he went on the medium tyres too. We'll look now on the top left, see if we get to see the change. But we clipped the apex, the exit curb on the left end, which gave us a bit of wheel spin. But yeah, I think ESR Lee did actually pit for medium. So yeah, I think Jason also pit that lap as well. Forgot to mention that he pit for softs. So he pit for softs, Lee pits for medium, so I think Jason will have the upper hand at the start of the stint, especially the first 4 or 5 laps. But yeah, coming now to finish our 21st lap, coming into the pits to fit another set of soft tyres, and crucially actually, we had a set of softs for qualifying, but I didn't use them just to keep it for the race as fresh as possible, because it did make quite a difference, to be honest. I think it was about 7 or 8% you'd start the stint on, because from qualifying, like the qualifying tyres, if you use them there and they used it in the race, you start on like 8 or 9%. So it was pretty crucial, about 2-3 tenths I'd say on the first lap. But now we are here now, and that's Limitless actually ahead of us, and surprisingly he's the only car ahead of me. I expected to be behind Martin at this point, and yeah, looking back now, that's actually Finch right behind me, so he closed a few seconds I'd say. We'll look now to see what the gap is at the end of sector 1, but I'm pretty surprised that Limitless is the only car ahead of me now. I honestly was surprised, and as you can see there, it's 2.5 seconds to gap to Finch, so he closed about 1.5 second, 2 second-ish on his undercut, and now he's on the medium tyres, and I think he's got, I'm not sure who that is right behind him. Could be Martin, could be Jason, I'm not sure, but at this point I was just hyped, really hyped, because I knew like the winner was there, and I'm on the much faster tyres against the car, the only car that's ahead of me, so just the only thing I had to do was just get past as clean as possible, not really put anything into jeopardy, not really risking anything, just don't make contact, just get past whenever, wherever, just don't rush it basically. But at this point I just suddenly just clicked, and I felt pumped, and I wanted to overtake Limitless with a good overtake or something, so he covers the inside there, but we go for it anyway. Slight gap there, he gives us a step space thankfully, and into turn 1 he's still on the outside defending as good as he can. As we know, he's a pretty good defender, so him managing to break that lane is pretty impressive on those tyres. And yeah, we've gone through now, and yeah, now into first place. But yeah, that overtake, I saw like a slight gap on the right there, and I went for it knowing he'd give me the space, because he's a clean driver, he's a veteran in this league, he knows how much space to give and that, so yeah, I knew I could trust him through that. But moving on now, coming to the end of lap 23, and this lap coming up now was a lap that I really enjoyed doing, and hope you guys enjoy it. I'll catch you at the end of the lap. So as you would have seen, they were set the fastest lap. They were a pretty lightning lap, I must say, and I felt like that was the best lap of the weekend for me there. I felt I maximised everything, just maximum attack on that lap. I didn't care about fuel tyres, I just went for it. I just wanted that fastest lap. I already had pole, and with the win pretty much in sight, I felt like fastest lap to top it off would be nice, the Grand Slam or something. So yeah, I was comfortably ahead at this point, about 6-7 seconds, so I just decided to look at the race director to see who had penalties, who didn't, and Finch was in my party chat, and ESR Lee was as well, so I was just giving them information on who's got time penalties, so they could, I think Finch was actually battling Limitless, so Finch had a time penalty and Limitless didn't, so Finch just had to get past to open a 3-second gap, or try to at least, and yeah, so he had to get past, and I think Lee also had a time penalty, but 2 of his warnings were not fair. Like the game just, yeah, it gave it without it being his fault, and those were definitely going to be removed. But I still gave him information on the cars ahead that didn't have time penalties. I think Finch was the only one with a valid time penalty at this point in the top 6. So yeah, coming now at start of lap 30. As you can see on the minimap there, Finch and Limitless are actually side by side. And out of turn 1, I can confirm that they had the decent glitch, the cycle glitch, similar to what Alonso and Lee had last season, and they both spun off into the barriers, and that is just really unfortunate. It really is. And yeah, it's just really unfortunate. Both their races ruined by no fault of their own, neither of their fault. And yeah, here you can see I'm checking the fastest lap to see if anyone's beat my fastest lap, because they just wanted that fastest lap, and at this point I knew I could not put in another lap because the tyres are just at its worst point now. But thankfully, despite Limitless actually going on to the super soft tyres, he didn't beat my fastest lap somehow. I just don't know how. I don't know if he didn't push that much on his lap or something, but on the super soft tyres he pretty much set a 21.0, just slightly slower than mine. So yeah, good news for us there. And coming around to the last corner now, really like pumped at this point. I felt really buzzed about this win. I really did. Favorite track, come here, pole, fastest lap and win to top off this weekend, this Sunday. And yeah, the race overall, I'd say it was fun. And as you can see here, Lee to finish P2, another 1-2 for Mercedes. He did have a time penalty, like I said, but he would that would get removed eventually, and he'd be second. But then we have Jason in third. That's a pretty good result for him after a bad streak of results with bad luck, and that is pretty good to see him up in third. And Killer Whale in fourth, again, like a rookie this season. He's done a fantastic job up to fourth. Martin in fifth, Falcon sixth, Finch recovered to seventh, and I think Limitless recovered to 8th. I think it was. We'll get to see in a bit. But yeah, checking the warnings there, as you can see, those 2 warnings Lee got on lap 6, those were when he tapped me from behind through the lag tap, and that sent him off the track, which gave him a warning for some reason. So yeah, that's pretty surprising. And as you can see there, we can confirm that Limits did actually finish 8th. But yeah, that's pretty much it from this race. Thank you so much for the support. 2,000 subscribers, so yeah, I'm really grateful for that. So thanks for the support, and I really hope to get Germany out soon, and hopefully a few career mode videos as well. So again, thank you for the support, and I'll catch you guys next time. Cheers.